For the African-American population, when Jackie Robinson breaks Major League Baseball's color barrier, it carried the same level of euphoria that we saw as a nation when Neil Armstrong walked on the moon. And of course, Buzz Aldrin also walked on the moon, and Buzz is the forgotten man. Larry Doby would sign with Cleveland literally just weeks after Jackie Robinson breaks the color barrier with the Brooklyn Dodgers, and Larry Doby is the forgotten man. Larry Doby went through just as much. Some may even argue even more than Jackie because he was playing in the American League. And the American League wasn't nearly as liberal as the National League. When he walked into the locker room with Cleveland, no one would shake his hand. When he stepped out on the field, no one wanted to warm up with him. Larry Doby was 23 years old, thrown into a powder keg of racism. Yet Larry Doby had the exact same pedigree that made Jackie the right one to be the first, college educated, had served in the Navy during World War II, was an outstanding baseball player for the Negro League's Newark Eagles. And it didn't take long. Larry Doby never played a day in the minor leagues. He went straight from the Newark Eagles over to Cleveland. And in 1948, he and the old man, Satchel Paige, helped Cleveland win the World Series.
The Cleveland Indians' triumph over the Boston Braves in the 1948 World Series is all over.
As we proceed to give you what you need.
Line drive, base hit. Lead runner touches second, headed for third. Here comes the throw. Save. And now second and third with one gone.
In 1946, the great Larry Doby had a tremendous season. He helped Newark win the Negro Leagues World Series. And during that season, he only hit .341, was named to the East-West All-Star game, and finished one home run behind league leaders Josh Gibson and Johnny Davis.
So up next, Larry Doby. That's ripped, base hit. The throw in, lead runner makes the turn at second. And now a wide throw to third. That one ripped. And it one off the wall. The run comes in from second, and the lead is up to 5. And this is going to be a 2-out triple. Swings and misses. 0-2.
No ball, 2 strikes.
There's a swing and a drive. That one's back there. It bangs off the wall. Around third. Relay throw home, but it's offline. And it's 1-0. This one high and deep. Way back there. Gone. Doby takes Satchel deep.
Like a lot of players from the Negro Leagues, Larry Doby was an outstanding multi-sport athlete. He'd been a star basketball player at Long Island University, where he played under the assumed name of Larry Walker to protect his amateur status while he was playing for the Newark Eagles. Larry Doby would go on to become the first black to play in the American Basketball League, which would become the precursor to the National Basketball Association.
About Clark Griffith is such a contrast to Bill Beck, who signed Doby to Cleveland in 1947. Doby said that when he signed, Beck told him, "We're in this together." That really made an impact on Doby. He scores on the sac fly, and they're up by 3. That one catches the zone. That's strike 1.
Going back to Mickey Vernon, Doby actually wrote to Vernon after getting discharged from the military and asked for a couple of his bats. Vernon sent him a dozen of his own Louisville Sluggers.
Warning track, wall, and you can...
A young Larry Doby would recall his first game in the Negro Leagues against the Homestead Grays. Who was the catcher? The great Josh Gibson. Larry Doby gets into the batter's box. Gibson looks up at him and says, "Son, we're going to see how you handle a fastball." Larry Doby singled. Next time up, Gibson says, "Son, we're going to see how you handle a curveball." Larry Doby singled again. The next time up, Josh Gibson says, "We're going to see how you react when you get knocked down." They knocked him down. He gets up. He pops up. The next time up, they knock him down. But this time, he singles again. Your life was tough in the Negro Leagues. They were never afraid to knock you down. But Larry Doby was never afraid to get back up.
Pride in breaking barriers. He said he hit better in Washington and St. Louis because that's where the parks had segregated seating, so he could tell where the black fans were cheering him on from.
He's under it. He's got it. Runner tags from third. Tag, not in time. He's safe. On the board first, it's 1-0. Reese back to work. Fouled off. He was late. Like you were saying, Chris, Doby broke a lot of barriers. In 1949, 4 black players broke the color line in Major League Baseball's All-Star Game. Doby, Jackie Robinson, Don Newcomb, and Roy Campanella. The relay to third, not in time. He's safe. That one is absolutely belted. Hits the top of the wall. Bates coming home. Oh, the throw is wild.
If you want an indication of why Larry Doby was the second man to walk on the moon, well, when he gets called up in 1947, he was only hitting .414. Over a decade-long major league career, 9-time All-Star, the first African-American to lead either league in home runs in 1952. He also led the league in runs scored that season. He would go on to become the second African-American to manage in Major League Baseball, only behind the great Frank Robinson. He would become the first to win both a Negro Leagues World Series and a Major League World Series, on his way into the National Baseball Hall of Fame.
As Larry Doby digs in for his Cleveland debut. Drilled out towards left center field. That's well struck back there. And it's a one-hopper off the wall. Should be extra bases. Cut off, throw to third. Not in time. He's safe as they score a pair on the play.
The legendary Jim Mudcat Grant, the first African-American pitcher to win 20 games in the American League. He was a roommate of Larry Doby when he was with Cleveland, and Mudcat was in awe of Larry Doby. And so as Mudcat would tell the story, he got to the hotel room before Larry Doby does, where he hears the key in the door, and there he is, And as Mudcat would describe Larry Doby to him, looked like a giant. He says to Mudcat, "You must be Mudcat." Mudcat says, "Yes, sir, Mr. Doby." He said, "Which bed would you like?" Mudcat says, "Yes, sir, Mr. Doby." He said, "Do you like to watch TV?" He says, "Yes, sir, Mr. Doby." And Larry Doby finally said, "Look, you got to stop with all this, yes, sir, Mr. Doby." And Mudcat says, "Yes, sir, Mr. Doby." The admiration, the respect that was held for this pioneering baseball player and what he meant to this sport was outstanding.
The star center fielder Larry Doby digging in for Cleveland now. To the right side. Oh, great grab on the dive. And very nicely done for the out. And the first offering is not close.
Larry Doby roomed with two great black pitchers in Cleveland, Mudcat Grant and Satchel Paige. Well, sort of. He said, "Supposedly I roomed with Satch, but I really roomed with his luggage."
In the air, right center. This is mashed way back and gone.
Larry Doby was Cleveland's top hitter and performed excellently on defense.
In a trailblazing career, Larry Doby is still the forgotten man. As I remind our guest here at the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, Larry Doby, too, suffered tremendous indignities as he integrated with Cleveland in 1947. Again, just weeks after Jackie Robinson would break the color barrier.
Jackie Robinson leads off for Brooklyn.
Oh, it was challenging, but Larry Doby endured. And Larry Doby rose above the adversity. But I guess when I stopped to think about it, Larry Doby had been very much prepared to rise above the adversity. After all, that's what the players in the Negro Leagues had done from the start. Larry Doby carried that spirit with him.
This is a great moment. All the struggles that I've gone through and other players of Afro-Americans, this is a reward for all of us.
It's never easy to be the first, but Larry Doby blazed a tremendous path that eventually led him into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. It is still hard to believe that it took until 1998 that Larry Doby would cross the threshold to become one amongst the immortals of this game. But I guess better late than never for this amazing pioneer and this amazing human being.
This is it, what? Lucini pouring from the sky, let's get rich, what? The G keep on sugar.